Peace, black people. Happy New Year's to you and yours. This is your brother Dahsara. I want to jump on this story that broke early this morning out of my home state of New Jersey. So check out this report and we'll chop it up on the other side.
Everybody else set? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris Cremicioni. I'm the Monmouth County Prosecutor. I'm joined today by our County Chief of Detectives, John McCabe, the Acting Chief of the Long Branch Police Department, Jason Roebuck, and my Major Crimes Director, Assistant Prosecutor Chris Decker. We are in the unfortunate scenario where we're investigating a quadruple homicide that occurred at about 11:43 p.m. yesterday on December 31st, 2017. The incident occurred at 345 Bank Street here in Long Branch. The Long Branch Police Department, as well as the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office, responded after a 911 call was placed concerning shots fired at this location. A suspect has been taken into custody. He's a 16-year-old male, and the deceased individuals are his two parents, his sister, and a family friend who lived at the residence. The case remains under investigation, but the important thing I'd like the public, especially the people in Long Branch, to know is that we are investigating this and are confident that it's a domestic incident that's completely isolated. As I mentioned, the suspect has been taken into custody. The investigation continues, and we have no reason to believe that the public here in Long Branch or anywhere is at risk of any danger. So we're still ongoing with this. It's a terribly tragic incident. The four individuals that were killed were the 16-year-old's two parents, his sister, and a family friend who lived at the residence. We will be charging this individual with 4 counts of murder and 1 count of possession of a weapon for an unlawful purpose. At this point in time, our investigation, we believe it's alleged that a semi-automatic rifle was used, but these details will continue to come out as this investigation goes forward. With that, I'll try to answer any questions as best as I can, but just bear in mind that our investigation is very fluid and very fresh right now.
You said Bank Street. I'm thinking about Wall Street.
Yes, Wall Street. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Was the weapon legally owned and registered to that location?
The weapon was legally owned and registered to a family member, and it was. The answer to your question is yes. Yeah.
Has he said anything about a motive or why this happened?
I can't get into anything that a suspect would or would not say. I'm sorry.
A neighbor on the street told me that she knew the family and that the 16-year-old was autistic. Can you confirm that?
No, I can't comment on anything like that. I'm sorry.
Can you comment on whether or not the 16-year-old's been charged with other crimes previously, whatever they may be?
No, we're not allowed to get into that either.
Since this is a domestic incident, was the house on any sort of local domestic watch list that you have recurring issues with, anything like that?
No, we have no reason to believe that anything like that. This is a real isolated first-time incident. We don't have any history of calls to that home.
How old is the sister?
The deceased sister, 18 years old, and the parents were 44 and 42, and then the fourth person was a 70-year-old female.
Can you talk about taking this individual into custody? What was the situation like? Did he surrender? Was there any confrontation with officers?
It's a good question. Thankfully, the arrest occurred without incident. The Long Branch Police Department and the Sheriff's Office did an admirable job in making sure that was the case.
But did this individual surrender, or was there some sort of back and forth between the suspects?
No, it was very quick. It was uneventful.
Did he place the 911 call? Or someone else did?
Someone else placed the 911 call.
From within the home?
Is that right? Yeah, within the home. Yes,
Were
yes,
there
ma'am.
other people within the home or just the 4 deceased?
There were the grandfather of the suspect, as well as the brother of the suspect. Thankfully, left the home. Came out okay.
Were they targeted though? Did he mean to kill them as well?
No, we have no reason to believe that's the case here.
Where were they found? Were they in bed? Were they up and about? Do we think maybe they were sleeping at the time that this happened?
Those kind of details are going to have to come out as our investigation unfolds. Those are things that you'll hear once charging decisions are made and it gets into a courtroom.
Do you need
But the
anything?
sister's 18 and the family friend was 70.
70. Her name is Mary Schultz. The two parents were 44 and 42, and then the sister Brittany is 18 years of age.
Names on any of those other individuals?
Yeah. Give me 1 sec, please. It's Stephen and Linda Kologi.
STEVEN.
STVEN, KOLOGI. Sisters Brittany, common spelling, and the family acquaintance is Mary Schultz, SCHULTZ.
Are you releasing the suspect's name yet?
No, he's a minor. so you won't see his name released in the public. But he's going to be charged in the coming hours.
Is Brittany's last name Kologi as well?
Yes.
You said K-O-L-O-G-I?
Yes.
I was just asking for the story.
K-O-L-O-G-I.
B-R-I-T-T-A-N-Y.
That's right.
When police apprehended him, could you describe maybe his demeanor?
No, I can't. I can just tell you that thankfully it was uneventful. It didn't require any force or anything like that. It was, and I'm grateful to hear that considering the circumstances.
Was he armed when they approached him, or did he?
I can't comment on that, but we have actually seized the weapons as part of the evidence in this case.
Are there other weapons in the pronouncements at all? Was anyone pronounced at the scene, or the pronouncements all at the hospital?
Those are all done after the fact by medical professionals. They're not done by law enforcement people on scene. So, while of course when we respond to situations like this, law enforcement officers have their own thoughts and feelings about it. They're not the medical professionals that are going to make a decision like that.
Well, I should have asked that.
Yeah.
Was anyone transported to the hospital?
No, unfortunately, no.
Are there other weapons in the home? We heard from neighbors there might have been multiple weapons stored in a safe or something like that.
I don't know. That's not what I'm hearing at this point in time. But again, this is so fresh. It just happened several hours ago. So anyway, if you stay tuned, please follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We'll be having updates as we go forward, and the next step in this whole process will be the formal charging of the 16-year-old suspect. It's coming in the next several hours. Yeah.
In terms of arraignment and everything?
So, well, what will happen is it has to occur within 48 hours of arrest. So today's Sunday, so probably the day after New Year's, Monday. That's right. Losing track. Anyway, I would suspect that would be Tuesday, tomorrow, at the Monmouth County Courthouse.
So
Do you
charge
petition to
today
have
and
charges in
arraignment
adult?
tomorrow.
Those decisions haven't been made yet, but he's being charged today with 4 counts of murder and 1 count of possession of a weapon for an unlawful purpose.
And that weapon recovered AK-47 review?
The only thing we're confirming at this point in time is that it's a semi-automatic assault rifle.
And did the other 2 people that got out of the house, did they say anything about what happened leading up to the shooting?
That's a great question. I can imagine you would ask it, but I can't comment on things like that because those types of matters are going to be purely evidentiary, things that we'll save for a trial. So I'm sorry.
You can't confirm if he had any type of mental disability.
No, I can't confirm or deny any of that.
When he is arraigned, will he be in Benton Court then because of his age?
That remains to be seen. We'll have to just hang in there, and these decisions will occur in the next several hours. So just check back with us.
Could you say the name of the mom again, Gregory?
The mother,
Yeah.
it's Stephen and Linda Kologi, S-T-V-E-N and Linda Kologi.
Is he being charged as an adult?
He will be, yes.
Is this your name?
My name is Chris Gramiccioni. I'm the Monmouth County prosecutor.
Can you spell your
Sure.
last name?
It's C-H-R-I-S. It's Gramiccioni. You don't know how to spell my last name? I'm just kidding.
Common
It's
spelling.
G-R-A-M-I-C-C-I-O-N-I. Yeah, the common spelling, right? Thank you all very much.
Sorry if we don't know the gentleman. Are any of you representative of the police department? Do you want to say anything on behalf of your, the local
Chief?
community about reacting to such a horrible situation here?
Long Branch Police Department Acting Chief, and no, I believe we've said pretty much all we need to say today, but as we stated, no one needs to be worried about this or upset. It was a isolated incident, and that's pretty much all we have to say today about it.
I believe that the initial calls came in as an active shooter. We saw reports of that. Was that something that you guys just do to kind of get people on alert, or?
I don't know. I haven't listened to the calls yet, so I'd have to go back and see that.
There's a lot of stories out there. I mean, I've heard reports about this being terrorist connected. We'd like to disabuse all of you of that notion. We're investigating this strictly as a domestic incident that occurred within the confines of this home. All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, everyone. Press release will be coming shortly with all the names and everything else again. Thank you.
Okay, let's chop this up. Now, one of the first things you notice is that they didn't give you his name or they didn't show you his identity, only his age, which is 16. Now, let me show you how you know that this was a parademon or a Caucasian, other than the fact that the last name is Kologi. Number one, did you notice how calm they are? Check out the demeanor. Check out their body language. Check out their tone of voice. The selective wording. The carefulness not to vilify this murderer who just killed 4 people. And not just any 4 people. He killed his mother, his father, his sister, and a friend of the family. Number 2, he said that they were confident that this was a domestic incident, completely isolated. How is he that confident to say that so early in the investigation? It just happened this early this morning. Did they check his phone or his computer to see if he had any ties with a white supremacy or neo-Nazi hate group? Did they turn his bedroom upside down looking for letters, a note or a manifesto saying why he did it and who he did it for? 3, they still calling him a suspect, even though they know he did it. Now, just for the sake of this video, let me give you the definition of suspect, which is this: to have an idea or impression of existence, presence, or truth of something without certain proof. Without certain proof. Now, check this out. They have the dead bodies, they have the murder weapon, and they have the gunman. This parademon is not a suspect. He is the perpetrator of the crime. Why are they calling him a suspect? Number 4, he also said that it was alleged that a semi-automatic weapon was used. He even confirmed the weapon used, and he said it's now part of the evidence, and there was a semi-automatic assault rifle. He said that. So now the 2 words here is alleged, and he also said they seized the weapon as a part of the evidence. Now, if I didn't mention that. Now, the 2 key words here I want to talk about is alleged, which means without proof, basically. Alleged basically means without proof. And evidence, which means the available body of facts. Facts, F-A-C-T-S. The available body of facts or information indicating whether a belief or proposition is true or valid. Now, again, you got the murder weapon, you got the bodies, and you got the perp. Your evidence or your facts are what I just named. That is your evidence and your facts. You got the murder weapon, you got the bodies, and you got the perpetrator. Case closed. No investigation needed. In my opinion, you shouldn't be able to use alleged and evidence. Given the definition, you shouldn't be able to use those 2 words in the same scenario because it's a contradiction according to the definition. Number 5, he said the arrest occurred without incident and that it was quick and uneventful. Now, we all know that a black man, woman, or child would have been shot on sight. I.e., for example, Tamir Rice and John Crawford III, who both had toy guns and were shot within seconds of the police arriving on the scene. So, that's self-explanatory. Number 6, again, they're smiling and even joking during the interview. It's not even that serious. It's not even that serious to them. It's almost like, okay, another one of us just murdered multiple people again. So what? Deal with it. And number 7, he made it clear that it was not terror related. And again, without checking his phone or his computer for ISIS or white identity extremist propaganda, he said that off the bat with confidence. It's not terrorist. It's not terror related. So, like again, I wonder how he can do that without the investigation being incomplete, according to him. And lastly, did you hear the reporter ask him if he could comment on whether or not the 16-year-old perpetrators been charged with other crimes previously? And he answered, this is what he said when the reporter asked him that question. He said, no, we're not allowed to get into that. Why the hell? Why not? We all know if it was a black person, they would have ran down his entire rap sheet right there on the spot. And if he didn't have a record or have a rap sheet, they would have told you about the time he took somebody's eraser in kindergarten. And they would have used that to want to prosecute or villainize this brother in the media. Now, real quick, I want y'all to check out this next story. Watch how you immediately see the difference in how they report this story, and I'll be back on the other side.
First of all, say to the Dunn family, I'd ask everybody to keep that family in their thoughts and prayers. Everybody's pretty much seen the video that's went around. That video is disturbing. I don't even know if I can think of words that describe it. There is no statute, no criminal statute that covers somebody not rendering aid in the state of Florida. So with that being said, we looked at it and we just didn't have any criminal charges. But again, we wanted to continue looking. The detectives kept looking. We kept in contact with the state attorney's office. This morning, myself and Mr. Archer actually talked. The detectives, we had a conference call. We were looking at some other statutes, and one of our detectives said, hey, what about this statute? And there's a statute, it's actually 406-12. It falls under medical examiners, and basically 406 is medical examiners and disposition of human remains. So we looked at this, and it's actually 406-12. And after a lengthy conversation with state attorney's office, we've made a determination at this time we are going to charge the juveniles with the statute under 406, which is a misdemeanor. Now, I want to make it clear, it is a misdemeanor. It's not a misdemeanor exception, so we will not be making a physical arrest at this time. But we will be filing the charges, and again, we've talked to the state attorney's office about it. They will have the ultimate decision in the end of whether or not the charges are actually filed, and then they file the information on them. But in talking to them, we're going to try this and see. As far as we know, this statute has never been used in this way on this kind of case. So it will be a kind of a test case. We're hoping that it does work out. But I will say, as another part of the conversation that myself and Mr. Archer had this morning, we are going to meet, and I'm sure we're going to include the sheriff with us and some other law enforcement leaders to talk about some sort of, or trying to get some sort of legislation or get our legislation to move on something that would cover not rendering aid. We think it can. I mean, if you read in the first part of statute, I mean, it basically says it's the duty of any person, and that's kind of what we're looking at. The fact that it says the duty of any person in the district where a death occurs, including municipalities and unincorporated federal areas, who becomes aware of a death of any person occurring under the circumstances described, and then it actually goes back to 406.11, and it covers the different forms, criminal violence, accident, suicide. I mean, it goes down a list, and I know our PR will provide you guys a copy of that if you don't already have it. So, we're kind of, really looking at the fact that it says duty of any person, and it doesn't limit it to, duty of law enforcement or, in that case. So that, and work on the moral issues. And I think that's really kind of what this comes down to, is it's a moral issue. I mean, what you watch when you watch that video is just, again, like I said, I don't know. I mean, I've been in law enforcement for 27 years, and I don't know as I can really sit here and describe it. I really can't.
Now, notice how somber and mad and serious they all were. Everybody that spoke in that little report, they had the same demeanor, the same tone to their voice, like they were angry, like they were disgusted. Notice the wording and the tone of disgust in their voices. Because in their want and need to vilify, these young black teens, they conveniently left out the part of the phone recording where they taped the dude drowning. They left out the part where the boys, you could hear the boys saying that alligators could be in the water. And they are in Florida, so that's highly possible. But check this out too. Notice how these two different news organizations have the age range of the boys, the teenagers, different. See, the trickery here is to make you see 18 and adult instead of 16 and minor. They see our black teenagers as grown men. And another thing about this story and these teenagers, in this story, they want to change laws because of these teenagers. Mind you, they didn't kill or physically hurt anybody. Now, what they did was immoral. In this matter, what they did was immoral. It was messed up. It was a shame. You know, it was a shame. I don't know. They could have did something other than record it and laugh. And I'm not condoning that, but this system set a precedent and did something that was never done before. They found a statute that they could use to prosecute these teenagers, to charge them and criminalize them for something. They had to get them for something. There was no crime committed here. Like I said, it was immoral, but there was no crime. They didn't hurt nobody, but they had to get these black teenagers with something. And you see the contrast from this story and the first story about the guy that shot up his family this morning. And another thing I want y'all to peep, this is another article. Do you see how they described a story involving black people, in this case black teenagers? They use the word evil. They use evil when it comes to describing black people in general, in this case black teenagers. And again, it's just another example of the system working for them and working against us. And on that note, I'm about to check out of here, but I want y'all to remember this, family. If there's nothing on this plane that you're willing to die for, chances are you're already dead. Peace.